Hey y'all, so today we're going to be checking out Pusa Sari. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Shy in Second Life, and on this channel we check out aesthetically pleasing places in the virtual world of Second Life, and I also sporadically do lifestyle vlogs. So if you're interested in content like this, go ahead and subscribe. So y'all, I don't know whether or not I have butchered the name of this land. Normally when I come across lands where I'm not easily able to pronounce the names, I will look it up in Google. Now, although Google found the name of the land, it's a place in Finland. Pronunciation, they had 0. So I did the best that I could. So yeah, so when I panned out this land, it's quite large, but it's not really easy to see like what's going on this land, which, you know, we appreciate that. So we'll just have to explore as we always does. So yeah, so yesterday I went to one of my friends' son's graduation, and it was an absolute beautiful graduation. It's so great to be able to like have friends long enough where you can actually watch their children grow up and just be like, I remember when, I remember when you was little, I remember when you was in this grade, and now you're graduating college and on to your next college adventure. Like, super duper proud of him and the man that he has become, the man that I knew he would be. But it's such a wonderful experience to actually be able to see that, to be like, I remember when you was a kid, and then I remember when you weren't anymore. Like, you're not a kid anymore. Like, you're a grown man. Such a beautiful experience. But while I was there, I realized that I have issues with compliments, and not all compliments, but what I realized is I have issues with compliments that I don't believe. So, for instance, I like my hair. Now, although I am going to take my hair down, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I do like the hair. I like my hair. So I got compliments on my hair, and it was a simple thank you, because I'm like, I like my hair. I agree with you. I do like my hair, but I love the fact that you like my hair as well. Didn't do my hair for anyone, of course, but I do like the fact that other people can recognize that they like my style as well. It's unique. I always try to do a unique style because that's just like how I like to do my hair when I do my hair, in a specific like protective style. But when I got compliments on my appearance, I had issues with accepting those. These cakes look so cute and so yummy. Y'all know this is like one of my favorite cakes. I don't know, every time I see this cake, it has such a really pretty like floral feel to it. It's definitely like a nice floral pastry, but it always gives me the idea like if this was like a real life cake, it would kind of be bitter, almost like when you add too much lavender in a cake, which we all know. Well, people who know about lavender, it's not difficult to do too much lavender. Like, lavender, you got to be real simple with. So they were telling me like, oh, I really like your shirt. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. Now, the shirt that I have is a shirt that I've had for a very long time, like over a year. I literally just like popped the tags on it the day of the graduation. And it's just like a little cafe. I'm not sure what this space is. It's like it reminds me like a little bakery cafe type vibe, but it's super cute. So the shirt is big. It's an oversized shirt, but when I initially bought it, it wasn't that oversized. But I have lost weight since I purchased the shirt. And so they were like, oh, I really like your shirt. And I was like, oh, thank you. I had it for a while, and it was just like I felt the need to like do a little backstory on the shirt. Not a bad thing, nothing bad. And so I just was basically telling them like, what, I've had this shirt for a while, and this is my first time actually putting the shirt on, because I've tried it on a lot of times before I actually pop the tags. I love these little plates. Oh, it's a little chickadee. I actually had the shirt for a while. I would try it on with different outfits, but I didn't like it because I wasn't pleased with the way that it laid on my body. I felt like it didn't complement my body at all, and that had a lot to do with my size perception and how I just wasn't pleased with my size. But now when I put the shirt on yesterday, I felt like, okay, the shirt looks nice or whatever. But I felt the need to do like a little backstory. Like, you know what? When I was bigger, I didn't like how this shirt fit, but now I like how this shirt fit. And so then my friend was like, yeah, she said, I see you, girl. I haven't seen her in a while. And I hate that I even have been away for that long. But little side note, when I am going through shit, specifically when I am like sad, or when just anytime I'm going through, I really like this artwork. Anytime I'm going through anything like sadness or frustration or just any kind of mental strain, I tend to keep that to myself. For the main reason is because I know that everybody has their own struggles. Now, being a friend, of course, you're supposed to be able to talk to your friend, and it's not that I feel like I can't talk to her. It's just I feel some type of way about, okay, I love this, they cute. I do feel some type of way about talking to people about, what did it say? Keep your pants on. I know that's right. I do feel some type of way talking to people about issues that I'm going through. I kind of feel like I don't want to burden other people with my issues. So I will try to do introspection. Not that I will try to do, but I absolutely always do introspection to kind of like fix the problem myself, or to try to attempt to fix it myself. And so the way that I end up doing that is I isolate. Now, do I have people that I could talk to? Absolutely. Absolutely, I do have people that I could talk to. Why I choose not to talk to them, I really couldn't tell you. This is something else that I've done introspection on, trying to really like figure out as to why I don't go to people when I'm actually having issues like this. I actually want to see what's going on this beach. But what's the person? We're gonna people watch real quick. But I have been going through shit. Like, I really have been going through shit. It's been losses in my life and loss of life in my life that I'm still not quite, I'm not bouncing back from it. And not so much bouncing back from it. She's so pretty. I'm not doing well with adjusting to the loss of life. I feel like when someone passes away and they go over to the other side, although I feel like it is a beautiful release for them, because they no longer have the burdens of being in this shell. You can actually be in I believe they're in their true form, and just being able to roam and live the life that you've always wanted to live. She is so pretty. I really like her look and style. I love, love, love her tattoos and how colorful they are. She is beautiful. I love her little outfit. It's not a little outfit. I love her outfit. I love this. Okay, ma'am. Okay. And so, I have not been coping well. That's the best way for me to put it. I've tried to, tell myself, of course they're in a better place and things like that, but the selfish part of me is like, they're in a better place, and I don't feel like people just pass away and then that's it. That's just me. We're not gonna get too much into that at all, but it's just like the selfish part of me is like, but I want that shell, I want that person back here. So I just haven't been doing well with that. And so I've done a lot of isolation with really just trying to come to terms with that loss. And it has kept me away from my friend for so long, where it's like, we'll still keep in touch, but it's like I haven't laid eyes on her, and it's been over a year. And I felt it was so great to see her and to be around her positive spirit again, and her family. They're always so welcoming and things like that. And I feel like a crappy friend, because she's not aware of the things that I'm going through, because I just feel like I don't want to burden you with the things that I'm going through, because everybody has their own things. And I don't know, it just doesn't sit well with me, like, feeling what I'm feeling, and then kind of just like talking to other people about it, I kind of feel like when you go through stuff like that, the type of friends that I have, they are listeners, but they're also solvers. And so it's like, I don't want to put you in a position where now you have to lay what you have going on in your life down on the side to try to help me solve this problem that I'm having or solve these feelings that I'm having. So I will just keep them to myself. But unlike a lot of other times, this is just a little bit more difficult for me to kind of cope with. You know I'll get to a point where I'll be able to cope with it better, but I'm definitely not there yet. And so when this is all to say, like, when they gave me like the compliment about my appearance, like, oh, you have, is this the same? This is not the same. Okay, because I'm like, though, this looks like a different space. When they gave me the compliment about my appearance, it's like, I didn't take it well. It was like, I tried to, like, it was almost like a rejection. Like, you're not really meaning that. It's like, why would they say that and they didn't mean? I know they absolutely meant it. So she was like, oh yeah, you're slimming, you have slimmed down, you have really slimmed down. And I'm like, immediately when she said that, I was like, girl, yeah, depression. Just explained it away. Now, although that is a part of it, I could have just very easily just said, thank you. It's like I almost I made an excuse as to be like, it's not really organic, weight loss. Now, depression has played a part of it, but it's not the whole of it. I have been making conscious decisions to lose weight. I have been working on it. I have been doing things outside of being sad to lose the weight. And so that's just really been a thing. And so when we were parting, her mom was like, she said, yeah, you've really been slimming down. So she wasn't with me when my friend said it outside, but once we were about to leave, she was like, yeah, I see that you're really slimming down. She said, girl, I want that shirt. And I was just telling her, I'm like, yeah, I said, this is my first time wearing the shirt. And like, really like explained again, like how this is my first time wearing the shirt. And I'm just so happy that I actually like how I look in it. And so when she was like, oh yeah, you're, slimming down, I was like, oh, thank you. I said, you know what? I said, I really kind of feel like I have some type of body dysmorphia because people see things in me when it comes to my size that I don't see. And I know that I told him, I said, I don't know if it's because I see myself every day, but I don't see it. But I'm glad that someone else would. We do not serve women. You have to bring your own, whatever. And so I'm like, I told her, I said, I'm glad that it feels good to see, to be seen by someone else in a different light than how I see myself. And it was in that moment that I was just like, you have issues with your appearance and you don't really, I always knew that I had issues with my appearance, but I felt like you have issues with accepting that people don't see you the way that you see yourself. And it goes back to that whole, like, you're always going to be your worst critic. Don't think I'm ugly? No. Don't think I'm like morbidly obese? No. But I know how I want to look. And I think that's the thing about it. And so I've gone through so many weight up and downs since I've had my son. But even before, like, I was on Depo when I was younger and I gained so much weight off Depo, it was crazy. But then when I got off Depo, unlike a lot of people, I was lucky enough where all that weight dropped off. And so I was smaller than I had ever been, and I remained that size up until after I had my son. And so I feel like I'm still kind of trying to bounce back from that. But if you are one of those people that are not lucky enough, because I really don't think it has anything to do with size. I just think some people have it where it just, the weight falls off better than others. But if you are one of those people where after you had a child, the weight just didn't move the way you wanted it to move, it didn't do what it needed to do. And so you're kind of still like holding on to that weight and stuff like that. That is very stressful. It's very, very stressful to still have to deal with weight, and it's like, this is something that I've never really had to deal with, and now I have to deal with it. Now it's something that I have to actively work on. Oh, I don't know what this is, but this is cute over here. This is something that I have to actively work on, and I've never had to like actively work on it. And so I was just like, you don't know how to take a compliment when it comes to something that you don't believe. If it's something that you believe, then you're fine with it. Complimented my hair, oh, thank you, and that was it. Complimented my shirt, which I felt like was a compliment for my appearance, and it was like I needed to have a backstory to it, you know. But with the shirt, I didn't feel like it was as bad as with when they're telling me like, oh, you know, you've slimmed down, and I'm just like, yeah, you know, I don't see it, you know. Instead of just taking a compliment and being like, oh, thank you, it's like, well, I don't see it. So almost to say like, I don't know what y'all are saying, but I don't see what y'all see, and so I don't really believe that what y'all saying is true. But it is true, because why else would they say it? You know, I don't feel like I have a circle of friends or family that will throw out compliments that they don't actually feel, you know, that they don't actually believe. I love this seafood. Now this is from Dust Bunny, and they've always had like really, really good food options. I now go to them every now and again. Well, I now go to them more regular since they've had their they had those items for the weekend sales. I said, you know what? It's too many weekend sales going on. So a lot of times I would just pop around to the places that I know will have weekend sales. And now Dust Bunny is on that list because they had that little cute little Easter stuff for the weekend sale. And I said, you know what? Y'all won't catch me slipping again. Y'all will not catch me slipping again. But yeah, it was very disheartening. I don't know. Is there something in here? Oh yeah, let's go look in here. It was very disheartening for me to really just like come to terms with that. I had saw like a TikTok where a lady was talking about how when you can't take a compliment, you know, you have like self-esteem issues or issues with like the way that you view yourself. And that was it. In that moment I realized like, yeah, I have issues with the way that I view myself. And it's good to have people that will kind of point out things that you are not necessarily seeing for yourself, to kind of give you a different perspective and a different view of what is actually saying or how people actually are perceiving you. And I feel like it was something that I needed to hear, because it did make me look at myself in a different type of light. It was just kind of sad because I do walk around like I consider myself to be a very confident woman, but I feel like just like many confident women, there are always going to be issues or areas where you feel like you could be doing better in. And it was just, that was one of those areas. It's like, you know, I've been working out, I've been running on the treadmill. I haven't been able to run on the treadmill the way I wanted to run on the treadmill because of my ankle. But now it's like, okay, now I'm getting back into into the mode of being able to run again and to run longer and things like that, and kind of just like reconditioning my ankle to go for longer runs and things like that. And it's like, you're doing better. You know, you're doing better than ever, but at the same time, it's just like you're not where you want to be. So you're just like, I don't know what y'all are saying when y'all are telling me that I'm looking a certain type of way or that I've lost weight, because I don't really see the weight loss. And it's not that I don't see the weight loss, but it's more or less I haven't lost the amount of weight that I wanted to lose. And so I think like that's really what it is. Is this like yeah, this is similar to the space that we saw down on the main level. So we only looking at spaces that's done real different. And so that was really just like eye-opening for me. I see that I do have a lot of things that I still need to do some introspection on, and I still need to work out. I talked to my mom about stuff like this, but you know, even when you feel like, no, they wouldn't be like this, it's almost like if I were in your shoes, I would be tired of hearing me talk about this same stuff. Oh, this is a cute little bathroom. And so that's really how I feel. I feel like, yeah, I could talk to my mom about it, but this is like the same shit. It's like you're still having issues with your appearance. You're still feeling that way. And it's like, why are you still feeling this way? And I know it has a whole lot to do with, because it's like I don't look the way that I want to look. It was just so it was sad for me, you know. It was really sad for me to really have to come to that understanding that although I have worked on so many things with myself, it's still so much work to do. Not a lot of difficult work, but a lot of tedious work. But I am gonna get through it, of course. But you know, it's just one of those things where we're gonna do a little bit of running. It's just one of those things where just like, I thought I was over this, but not quite, you know, not quite. Cause you know, you still got a little bit of show going on. But it was so I appreciate being able to even be in that setting to get that information, you know, to have that type of introspection that I wasn't even expecting to have. It's so pretty over here, to have with myself, to be able to be like, okay, well, these are more things that you need to work on. You thought you were where you needed to be, but you know, you got a little bit more to do. So I really did appreciate that. So that it did put me in a bit of a bummed state, but it was more or less just for me, you know. It was just like, girl, get yourself together. Get yourself together. But yeah, so how about I went to Dollar Tree, and I needed like a screwdriver and a spray bottle, because I bought some neem oil for my plants, because like I got the damn plants and I'm having issues with gnats, and it's like, what the hell, like don't nobody want to have to deal with no damn gnats. So I knew Mama Aries had told me, like, she's like, you know, you get the plants, you might have to deal with like gnats and stuff like that. Sometimes that happens when you get plants, so you know, just kind of be prepared. So I went and got neem oil, I needed a spray bottle and all of that. So get my stuff from Dollar Tree, and it ended up being like, which way I'm about to go, y'all? I just came from there. What's over here? I don't think there's nothing over here. And so things ended up being like, we finna run again, like $10 or whatever. So I put my card in, and the card said issue processing. I'm like, what the hell? So the lady's like, oh well, you know, we've been having issues with our card reader and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, so let me try it again. So I tried it again, and it didn't work again. And I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on? Like, what's the issue? And so again, it's saying, you know, issue processing. So I'm like, okay, well, let me try a different card. Oh, I like how they have these different elevations. They have lots of nice like sitting areas and stuff like that. This is super cute, because this is a beautiful view. Is it cute? It's a real cute. So I try my other card, and the other card doesn't work either. So then I have my son try his Apple Pay, and that didn't work either. And I'm like, OMG, like what's going on? It's not my card, because it's not saying decline. Of course it's not going to say decline. It says issue process. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know what it is. So a lady behind me, she's like, well, you know what, how much is it? And I'm like, oh, it's $10, but it's okay. I'll just go someplace else and get it. And she's like, no, you know, I'll get it from you. I'll get it for you. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that, ma'am. And she's like, well, it's only $10. So then she swipes her card, which is a gift card. Now I'm using a debit card, and so she swipes her card, which is a gift card, and her card goes through. So now I'm feeling some type of way, because I'm like, now it's appearing as though I ain't got the funds, and I got the funds. Okay, know that I got the funds. That ain't what the issue is. But in that moment, I was just like, so the lady bought the stuff, which I was very, very grateful and gracious. It was very gracious of her to do that. Oh, this is a cute little chapel. But it was so crazy, because I often dwell on things when I feel like I'm in an uncomfortable situation. I often do dwell on like little silly things like that. So the rest of the day, I'm like, oh dang, you know, it made it look like I didn't have the money, but I did have the money, you know, and it didn't say declined, it said the issue processing. And it was so dumb, and it was just so, I just felt so foolish for even just like sitting and like ruminating on that whole interaction, when it was just like, I'm sure neither one of them really cared. It was $10. It wasn't a whole lot of money, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm still, you know, I tell myself, you know, I'm going to take my son's approach and be like, you know what, it's really not about what anybody else thinks. It's about what you think. I'm still having issues with accepting that, you know, still having issues with living in that truth. I love these candlestick holders. Look how pretty that is. Because I really was like dwelling on the fact that it made it seem like I didn't have the money. And I'm like, I have the money. I just didn't have, not I didn't have, my card just wasn't going through. I didn't have any cash to pay it. And so my son was like, you know, if I had my wallet, I would have paid it. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but the card should have worked. So then we left and we went to, where we go? We went to Aldi's to get some stuff because we needed like some ground turkey or something like that. And so I bought something else, and when I used my card for that, the card went through. Now literally this was maybe like 5 minutes after, because the stores were very close. And so I told my son, I said, I don't understand what was going on with that machine, because I just used the card here and it worked fine. And so my son's like, yeah, you know, it's not a big deal. I don't really know why you still kind of tripping on that. But it was just like one of those things where I'm like, once again, I keep telling myself like, yeah, you know, I'm not going to trip on small, unimportant things like that. But then I find myself once again tripping on small, unimportant things like that. And it's like, okay, you do care about what other people think about you, even when you tell yourself that you don't, or you tell yourself that you're not going to do that anymore. And I really have to get out of that space, because it's like, honey, who are they to judge? And I don't even think that they're judging me. I don't think that they thought about me, or most people think about any of the weird situations or spaces that I feel like have some type of bearing on my self-image. I don't think that they think about it past that moment, but I will sit and ruminate on it for way too long. I don't like that I do that. Again, more things that I need to work on, very small things, but you know, there's still things. And not that I'm trying to be perfect, but I'm definitely trying to be better than I was yesterday, and even better the day after.